Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new episode of The Final Verdict. I am John Dodaro, and I'm joined with Carlin Jacob. And it has been a minute since we've done a movie review together, it feels like. Feels like it's been a minute. I couldn't tell you, like, off the top of my head, what the last movie was that we saw together and reviewed together. It's been a while. I'm looking at your list.
Probably Fantastic
Four. Probably Fantastic Four was the last thing we did together. Everything else. Superman, Fantastic Four. Other than that, I've seen a couple things here and there recently, such as Weapons, Naked Gun. But this is the first thing that we're reviewing together in a while. So I got to remember how we do this kind of thing. We do a lot of TV shows together. Obviously, Peacemaker series still happening for another 4 weeks. Gen V starting up, so a lot to talk about there. But yeah, movie review. Let's go. And in terms of September, at least you and I together, this could be... I have to update my upcoming movies. This might be one of the few. There aren't as many coming up. But can we talk about this movie? Because I saw this movie, The Long Walk, on Friday. This movie came out last week. We just saw it today. I saw it for my second time, and you saw it for your first time today. So we're going to review The Long Walk. If you're new to the movie reviews, we will do the spoiler-free section first, so you won't get spoiled on anything that happens in the movie, but trailers are fair game, so if anything was in the trailers, fair game. We'll give it our grade, our little final verdict, and then we will talk spoilers, break down what we liked and what we didn't like. So, this movie, right now, on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got an 89% critic score, an 85% audience score. So it's doing really good so far. This movie is based on one of the first books ever written of Stephen King's. This is one of his first ever books. I know. Well, what's interesting is it's based on the 1979 novel of the same name by Stephen King under his pseudonym, Richard Bachman. So that's what he used to call himself back then. So interesting in the backstory. But yeah, this is made before the It books, a bunch of other Stephen King classics. He wrote this before a bunch of books. And this is finally getting adapted onto the big screen. Directed by Francis Lawrence. Why I say that name is because he is known for directing the Hunger Games movies. Have you seen the Hunger Games movies? I'm curious.
Ooh,
The Hunger Games. I don't think I've ever asked you that.
I think I've seen 1 and 2. I think I've seen them all. I forget how it ends. How does it end?
Spoilers for the Hunger Games. It ends with...
If we're spoiling the Hunger Games and you haven't seen the Hunger Games, oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, the rebellion wins, and Katniss' main character lives. The rebellion won in a controversial way. Best way to put it. But he directed... he didn't direct the first Hunger Games movie. He did Catching Fire, the second one, and then the 2 Mockingjay movies. But he also directed the prequel movie, I'd call it The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I have seen that. And he is directing the next prequel movie, Sunrise on the Reaping. Those 2 Hunger Games books were written not very long ago. They take place before the main Hunger Games movies, and he is directing the movie adaptations of both. So Songbirds and Snakes already came out. Sunrise of the Reaping is coming out in 2026, so he is tied to the Hunger Games. And the reason why I mentioned the Hunger Games is because the Hunger Games is a very dystopian world. It takes place in an alternate version of the United States. And that's the same exact premise of this movie. It takes place in an alternate version of the United States. So he's got a lot of experience directing these kinds of movies. Obviously, the Hunger Games and the Long Walk have some similarities. I mean, it's a competition where a lot of people die and there's one winner. It is interesting to mention him as a director. That's also what intrigued me with this movie as well. So, there's no Hunger Games cameos that I know of in this. I would say I prefer the Hunger Games. I think the world of the Hunger Games is more unique because they don't fully explore this world. But interested in the premise. It's a long walk. You walk till you die. But I'm curious. What did you think about this movie? Because you saw this before I did, or you saw it after I did. So it's more fresh to you. What do you think about it?
Um, it's basically what I expected. I will say it's a very emotional movie. So if you don't do good emotion wise, it's not good. I will say I teared up a couple times. I don't know if John noticed that. I
I
told
don't think I noticed.
I told him, but I don't think he noticed. As for the violence, it's not horror. If you hear Stephen King, it's not horror. It's if you've ever seen The Boys, it's like that. The Boys, any TVM 18 stuff, because obviously people are going to die in this movie. But I feel a very strong emotional connection to the movie to this. I do not think I could go rewatch this movie. I have no idea how John rewatched this movie. I think I could rewatch it at some point, but like not for a very long time. Like someone would have to be like, "Hey, can we go watch this?" And I'd be like, "Okay." And hopefully it's not my future wife and it's her first time seeing it because I might bawl my eyes out in front of her. But jokes aside, the only thing that kind of sucks about this movie is the ending.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But it's a really, really good movie. What you think?
I really liked it, and I've seen it twice, so it is rewatchable. It is not like the easiest rewatch because I mean it is pretty brutal. I compared it. I don't know if I did a review on Warfare. No, I didn't. I had it right. I had it marked that I didn't review it on the podcast. It was a war movie, and one thing I said about that was it was a hard rewatch because of how brutal it was. Now I don't think this movie is on the level of Warfare at all, but I think Warfare is on streaming if you're ever curious of watching that movie. But I don't think it's on that level, but it is kind of brutal. It is labeled as a dystopian survival thriller film. That's what it's called on Wikipedia. So it's not a horror movie, but I mean, there's not really jump scares. There are some gross moments. I think in one trailer you saw like the ankle rolled up trying to walk on it. Like there was that in the movie. Gunshots. If you don't like gunshots, stay away. Let's just say that they show them straight up. They don't hide all of them. So if you're not a big fan of gunshots, stay away. I would say that's one warning I would have. But I really like this movie. The story was great because one, it's straightforward. I mean, a bunch of people walk until there's only one left. That's a very straightforward premise. That's interesting. So it works. I cared about all of the characters that they showed. I thought the main leads, Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson, were both fantastic in this movie. I mean, absolutely fantastic. I mean, some of the best performances of the year, I think, came from the two of them in terms of all the movies I've seen so far. They've had some of the best performances. They were fantastic. But I think every character did their role perfectly. Every character. There's a lot of people in this movie that you might recognize. But it's funny because those two main leads, like Cooper Hoffman hasn't been in many things, like big name things. David Johnson, you probably know him from the Alien Romulus movie that came out last year. That was probably his biggest role. So some of these people have not had huge roles, but there have been people who've had decent roles. Ben Wang played the Karate Kid in the most recent Karate Kid movie. He's in this. Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, is in this movie. The kid who played Jojo Rabbit was in this movie. That movie came out a while ago, but that was a big Oscar movie. Judy Greer is in this movie in a smaller role. Some other names as well that were a bit familiar to me, but there were some familiar faces. But I really enjoyed this movie. It was really good. My main complaint is the ending. When we talk about grading it and spoiler section, we're probably going to spend a good amount of time on the ending. Was not my favorite. That is probably the biggest gripe I have with this whole movie. Other than that, I mean, I was invested, even on the rewatch. I was invested with this movie, just trying to catch things that I didn't catch the first time.
You know what I noticed too, by the way, when we were doing this?
What?
I was watching your movement when people were going to get shot. I watched it to see if you actually wanted to like watch it or not.
Ah,
like depending on how gruesome the death was, because there's a couple gruesome deaths.
there are a couple. Was I revealing enough to you?
No, because that because I was at so the first person who dies, I watched your thing,
Okay.
and then after that, I could kind of tell like, okay, how I'm gonna be. Because you were like,
Ah,
oh, you might be a little scared, but I've never watched The Boys with you. I think I watched Deadpool and Wolverine with you, but there's not much that because John knows I hate horror,
yeah, I do.
so
You should watch The Conjuring.
hard passed.
Ah, man. Yeah, there are some creepy moments. I think I'll say this: the first kill is available online. Like I knew what was happening because they posted the first kill online. I believe on like the Long Walks TikTok page, you can watch the first kill. But I'm not going to spoil it here. Who dies? But um, that's probably your tone setter in terms of like gruesome kill. If you want to like test yourself before seeing this movie, go on like their Twitter. You could see like the first kill that happens, and if that's too much for you, oh, that's probably the worst it's going to get. Though I would say that there are a couple iffy ones. We'll talk about them throughout spoilers, but it is kind of, you might flinch at points. You might. This movie was very tense, even though it was predictable as to like who you think will make it near the end. It was still very tense. Like you follow a main character, you expect him to go far, but even when it's still early on, you kind of are scared for him because I think the movie does a great job with its tension. Like that one night scene when they're walking up the hill, won't spoil much, but like music was great. This movie had good score
Mhm.
too, very underrated.
I
Um,
you know what I thought about during this movie.
what?
Two things before I say my thought. Number one, this movie was shot in sequential order,
Yes.
um, which is very very awesome because they're gonna grow beards and stuff just because they've been walking for a couple days. I mean,
Right.
it'd be weird if one had a beard and then the next day he was completely shaved. Um, but what I was going to say is, oh, it's also based on the book, like John said. And we'll get into the spoiler section based on what's similar, what's not, even though we've never read. But what I was actually going to say is this movie felt long in a good way. Like watching it, it kind of like it made you like fear the end more of like how is it going to end? Because like at that point, like you know our generation, John, like we're kind of lazy and we just want to skip to the end of things.
Yeah.
It's just our generation. But like it that part of me wanted to get there. And you know, everything that's happening is meaningful. But when you get to what's gonna happen, how's it going to react to you? You know?
Yeah.
Like them talking about like why they're there. You know? It's like, okay, that's cool, but like when are we going to get to the end and it's gonna matter? But that still matters. Like it's not long in a bad way, it's long in a good way, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't, but
I'll try to add to that. Well, I will say this: I wish it didn't end because I didn't like the ending. I liked everything leading up to the ending. So, like, I wanted on the rewatch, I just wanted to stay with these people and like hear their stories and everything, hear all the dialogue again. I caught some things that I didn't catch the first time, so uh, I wanted to stay there. I think the length is perfect too. It's an hour and
50.
48
Yeah.
minutes. Yeah,
I
about
will
an hour 50.
I will say too, I'm not an experienced runner. John knows this. However, I have started running, and I've realized with running, there's a couple questions that because I want to get into ultra running and stuff, and that's way far from now. But a couple things I know is running makes you have to poop. Little TMI, but if you're going to go see this movie, they're going to have to poop, and it answers that question, which I'm glad it does. Same thing with
Yeah.
other stuff, like with ultra running. I've heard that you hallucinate a lot and they're gonna hallucinate. Which I'm glad that like they're like this is being added to the film. Granted, Stephen King could have wrote that in the book. I don't know, never read the book. But my point being is I'm glad they're adding this minor detail. Because if they would never explain like how they would use the bathroom, I'm not sure like we probably would be questioning
We
it.
would.
Yeah,
We
we would
would.
be questioning it. but it does answer that stuff, which I really did like.
Yeah. This movie didn't have many plot holes in terms of everything around it. Like it at least gives an answer for just about everything, like pooping and peeing. Like just things that you would expect, like sleeping and all that, like, and you see the effect of the lack of sleep
And
throughout it. So
the
yeah,
only
so you're saying.
thing that I could gripe about this movie besides the ending is the world around it.
Yeah. There's
Like,
not enough explanation with it.
no, because it's a very creepy world.
Yeah.
And I would like a little bit more, but like it's not the whole premise of the movie except one part. And there are
Yeah.
like there are things that would be like, oh dang, I didn't see that coming, which is cool.
And one thing this movie could have done to address that, they could have made the movie longer and maybe spent like 20 to 30 minutes even just showing life before the walk. And you can establish the world, essentially the country, kind of like what the Hunger Games does. Like in the Hunger Games, they literally take time in Katniss's, that's the main character, her district, and you kind of get the gist of everything going on and how she got picked. But I will also compliment the movie. It starts right away with the walk.
Yeah.
Like they do just do this whole thing quickly. Like it gets you to the walk like they're at the start line. Like that's the beginning of the movie. They briefly say things that happen. So I do like that they keep some things a mystery. Like they do enough to say it, but you don't get a lot of it.
Well,
And they do justify like why people would choose to do this because they don't show like the main character registering for the thing, but they do try to give explanations as to why people sign up for this and all that.
well, and like also to combat the thing of like not showing the main world, you can't because of like a certain scene later on in the movie. Like, how do you tell the world building without doing that? It can be done. It's just going to be very hard. I can't go into
Yeah,
that. But yeah, this movie did a lot of great things, minus
yeah,
the ending,
I did.
which is
Yeah, I did like the ambiguity of just the
ooh,
world
big
around.
word.
Like big word. I I like that they didn't fully say everything. Like I don't think this movie's getting a sequel or anything, but they kept the focus where it was on the walk. They didn't want to like make it all about the world around. I mean, they say enough about the world where you kind of get the gist of what it's like, but you don't get to visually see everything.
I will say,
You don't get to see flashbacks or anything
I
like
will.
that.
Well, you do
Some,
some, but not a
like
lot.
one
I
scene of a
I will
flashback.
say too, that the John's thing. Um, if it would ever get a sequel, I would love to see the opposite with the opposite gender. I would like to see it with females. Not because, like, just because I feel like they would have a different mindset on all of it. Just because
Yeah.
they're all boys. If they were to do one, but I don't think it needs a sequel at all.
Well, I think that world in particular wouldn't work for a women walk just because it's said in the past they like believe in the hard work, kind of like men type of things back
I
then.
will say that, but also there's female guards.
There are female guards. That is true. There are
There
female
are female
guards.
guards. So I that's my only thing. But I will
Because it
say
is not. It's not clear when this takes place, either. Because if you want to infer from when he wrote the book was written in 1979.
I
So
can see it being in 79.
yeah. So I mean, they got to the point where there were. I don't know if there were women troops back then. So I think it takes some freedoms.
Yeah.
I think it
But
takes some freedoms in what's
it,
telling.
it's also a fictional world.
Yeah, it's
So,
very fictional. Yeah,
because
they make up their own rules. Uh, Maybe if you wanted to just have no questions, you could have maybe explained it all a bit more. But I like some of the ambiguity.
the only other thing I kind of wish we saw is what they do with the bodies.
Yeah, they don't show.
They don't show, like, do they just leave them on the street? I'm
I
assuming
am
someone.
sure there's like a cleanup crew behind. You know, you
You would
think?
have to think. And also, I would
Yeah,
love to, like, I would have loved, like, a map of where they're walking.
yeah. Well, it's mainly in one state, I think.
It doesn't say what state, but yeah.
It's the state of the main character, but we'll leave it there to
Yeah.
not spoil much.
Well,
Uh,
I thought there was one more thing.
I'm trying to think of any other complaints, because I can't talk about the ending here.
No. It answers a lot of questions too that you would come up later in the movie, like
Yeah,
because they get 3 warnings that says that in the trailer, but they got like a lot more warnings than I would think. And I asked Johnny, he goes, "Oh yeah, they say every hour they cut off
yeah.
a warning."
Everything is explained. Like, if there is a question that you have, there's probably a chance it's been explained. Now, do you like every reason for certain things? Like, why people went into the long walk? They give a reason. Is it the best reason? You kind of just have to infer what the world is like in that universe, and that justifies people signing up. But it is what it is. I think one other minor complaint I had, the flashback scene that we had, it was a little silly in a way, in terms of, like, it involves Mark Hamill's character, and it's like, this guy's everywhere, really. Like, and also, because they don't explain the world, you don't really know the hierarchy of the world, too. Like, Mark Hamill's character, he's the major, and, like, you'd think this guy has so much power based on how much they talk about him. Like, they don't say, like, a president or anything like that. Like, the Hunger Games made it very clear, like, who was in control, who was on, like, level 2 and level 3, and all that. This world isn't very known. Like, you'd infer that Mark Hamill's character is pretty important and has a lot of prestige, but you don't fully know. So there's some questions with that. But the main gripe is the ending. I would say that.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to.
If you have questions about the main ending, oh boy,
we'll
talk about it, because that's the one thing that doesn't really get put to it. But
yeah,
anything else you want to talk about before?
Acting was great. Cinematography was great. Music was great. Story for 90% of the movie was great. Best way to put it. Final grade, final verdict. Let's do it. You go first.
Yeah, because you're torn and I'm torn.
I know my number that I'm giving it. I just don't know where I'm going to put it on my list of similar grades. And where it's set right now, you can see my screen. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I'm probably going to lower it on my ranking.
I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10, I think.
Okay.
I give halves, John does, and that's just how we do it here. But I don't think it's bad. It could be higher, but also part of my ranking is like rewatchability. Like Superman, obviously, I would love to rewatch Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts. It's just very hard to rewatch this movie for me personally.
That is completely fair. And that is why I'm going to move it around on my list.
Did you not think about that?
Yeah, I mean, that is a key. Rewatchability is usually my tiebreaker for movies. Like, what would I choose to watch again first? So that is actually going to impact where I put it in my tiebreaker scenarios. For me, this movie had elements of a 9. This movie had elements of a 10, even. That ending, though, just hurts it bad. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think this is a great movie. I recommend seeing it in theaters. Maybe you have a different opinion about the ending that we do. Maybe it works for you completely and you left satisfied. That's up to you to decide. I was not fully satisfied with the ending. Carlin was asking me the same questions I had after the movie ended. This could really be a 9 with a better ending. It could have been better than Sinners, which is my current favorite movie of the year. It could have been better than that with a better ending. But because it doesn't stick the landing completely, it gets down to an 8. I would go see it, though, if you have time. September slate is pretty average. I don't even know what movie you and I would see next in theaters, unless I drag you to see one. But I'd recommend seeing this movie. It's probably one of the best movies in theaters right now. See it while you can. So I do recommend seeing it and figure out your own opinion on it. So I recommend it. Let's get to spoilers, shall we? So, as always, if you have not seen the movie and you do not want to be spoiled, you don't want to know what that ending is, you want to figure it all out for yourself, stop listening, stop watching, come back later, come back to this very moment. But if you have seen the movie, or for some really dumb reason, you just don't care to be spoiled, and you have no interest in this movie, which I still recommend you see it, you can keep on listening, because the spoiler section starts right now. You have been warned.
All right, so before we actually talk the movie, let's talk the 3 questions I
Wait,
asked you.
I was gonna say, do you want to start at the end or do you want to work our way up to the end?
The movie did in chronological order. Let's do it in chronological order.
Yeah, and
Actually,
especially in case somebody was dozing off for a minute, I don't want to like spoil the ending right away in the
That's fair.
spoilers. So
they
if
all
you've been dozing
die
off,
except one.
yeah, everyone dies except one. So if you have been dozing off, we are in the spoiler section, but we'll start at the beginning to save you. Okay, so it's a dystopian version of America ruled by a totalitarian regime. I hope I'm saying that correctly. It's a political system and a form of government that prohibits opposition from political parties, disregards and outlaws the political claims of individual and group opposition to the state, and completely controls the public sphere and the private sphere of society. Look at me. So you cannot oppose this government. You cannot speak bad about it in
Which,
any ways.
by the way, they do in this movie.
They do during the walk.
And
But it's like you can't.
But
I wonder. Here's the one thing they don't explain. But then again, it could be justified. They say this long walk is being taped. So would people see like the protests of the long walk?
will they also see them pooping on the streets?
Yeah. But my counter to that would be kind of like what they do in the Hunger Games sometimes is they will like cut things out. Like they'll choose what they want to show. Essentially.
I'd assume. I don't know if they could show it being on TV, these people dying, but then again, it's a dystopian society. What says they can't?
I mean, the Hunger Games, like those, like they'd celebrate, they gamble on it.
Yeah,
like people dying or not.
I will say too, if I was in this world, my kids were out in the street when they were walking by, I'd immediately pull them inside.
Well, I think that's an interesting point because we'll go briefly out of order. Like they show the kids watching the one death. I mean, it probably just shows like how used to it they are. Like they're probably used to this stuff. Like the long walk's been going on for a while at this point, so kids are probably used to it in a way. They probably do show some deaths on TV because at the final kill, like they were all celebrating, so they're probably at the point where it's not like jarring to them or anything like that. So. Actually, it kind of is, but we'll go quick. Thousands of teenage boys apply to participate in an annual event known as the Long Walk. So it's an annual event. And the difference between the Hunger Games and this, the Hunger Games, you're forced to be nominated. You have no choice. In this, it's completely optional. You don't have to volunteer. It's a lottery. So you choose to be a part of it, which is a big difference because you would think, why on earth would I choose to go into a competition where I have a 1 in 50 chance of winning and living? So, but they do justify it in the movie. I mean, they show that everyone needs the money. Like you're essentially set for life and then some if you win this. So it does show how desperate people are. They do explain it in the movie. The movie probably does a better job of explaining it than I do. So I'll give it that. I do question why people would sign up for something as crazy as this, but the movie explains it. 50 boys are chosen random. So there's a lottery. One person per state, they imply as well. So we still have 50 states in the country. They are given water and rations. I guess the food. Yeah, rations. And must walk without stopping along a preset route while a squad of soldiers escort them. Any walker who falls below 3 miles per hour for 10 seconds is given a verbal warning. I wonder how they keep track of the warnings. Like, do you think they have like a tablet with like everyone's name and everything? And like they're keeping track of their speed and like they have a timer for when their warnings expire.
Watch. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like they have to have like a giant tablet and all of that. And also, what about the soldiers? The soldiers don't sleep either.
I'd assume they take shifts.
Yeah, I mean, because the Major takes some shifts.
Yeah, there's vehicles on the side of the road, like more than some at some points. I'd assume so.
Yeah, so they can lose a warning by maintaining speed for an hour. You did not know that.
What?
Until after the movie. They can lose a warning by maintaining speed for an hour. So.
Oh, yeah, we didn't know that.
You didn't know that.
Yeah.
If a walker takes 3 warnings and falls below speed again, he is shot and killed by the soldiers. The walk ends when there is only one survivor left who receives a cash prize and have one wish fulfilled. I do wonder if you wanted to, like, you could have made it so there was an actual finish line. So maybe there would be like a chance that more than one person could
Yeah. How long did
win.
they walk in this movie? Do you remember?
Almost 400 miles. It was under 400. It was
So
like
make
4 days.
so make it 500.
Or if you make it till, it could be like first to like 365, and if there's only one person left before then, that person wins. But if more than one person crossed the line,
But I mean,
maybe.
if they're goals that like no one survives except one, or barely anyone survives, you have to make it like 500. The only reason why is then because I feel like if you make it 365, yes, there was like three, four people left. Yeah, you would still have 4 winners. And
I honestly think if they did 400, they could have had like maybe 3 winners.
Yeah.
Maybe. Like, I think the one musketeer that fell off late, like, he was done. He was not making it. I think the third place guy, Stebbins, would have made it if it was 400, potentially.
maybe some of the people who committed suicide would too.
Yeah. Like, I think you could have some winners. And at least then, it's like you can build like a brotherhood. Because it kind of sucks to build a brotherhood when most of you are going to die.
Yeah.
Where it's like at least you can like rally each other, like more than one of us can win and like split the money. You know, that'd be a thought for Stephen King. That's not a thought for this movie because this is based on what Stephen King did. So
Well,
if you wanted to encourage more people to do the long walk, maybe make it like a better, more realistic chance of winning. Because when you say only one person out of 50 can win, it's like your odds are terrible. But when like more than one person could win potentially, okay, maybe I'll do it. Like if me and my bro can win, like if you and I are both in it, I'm not gonna be sad like, oh man, you're gonna die during this because I'm winning. I could be like, no, you and I can both win. That'd be the change I would do to the long walk. If I had to talk to Mark Hamill, I would make that change. If that was my wish for winning the long walk, I would do that. So that's like 400 miles, something like that. Anyway, I just had that thought. So Raymond Garrity / Ray, he's at the starting line and he meets all the other people. He has a moment with his mom. Mom was played by Judy Greer. She was good. So he meets Peter McVries. We'll call him Peter going forward. And they become close instantly. This is the heartbeat of the whole movie. The two of them. Like, they're together throughout the whole movie. They're always interacting. Though it makes it obvious that they're going to both be in top 3, at least. We'll talk about the difference from the book. Also, some differences from the book. The book is 100 people and 4 miles per hour. So that was one difference that was changed. So he meets Peter, meets Billy Stebbins, who finishes 3rd place. Arthur Baker, I believe that was one of the Musketeers. Collie Parker, Coley. Oh, he dies first. Coley. Gary Barkovich, he was like the crazy guy. And Hank Olson, who was the Karate Kid. So those are kind of the main people. You got the Major as well. How much power do you think the Major has in like the government?
I mean, he was ordered to go to the main character's house and shoot the dad. So
Yeah,
apparently
like
a
he's
lot.
everywhere. Yeah, he's everywhere. He's in the long walk. And they were like talking about like they kill the Major, like they kill the walk in a way. Like we don't have a president. We don't have like a second Major or anything. So it's like, yeah, and this guy's everywhere. When I mentioned that in the non-spoiler section, like, of course he's there to kill Peter's dad, or not Peter's, Ray's dad. Like, he's everywhere in this movie. Like, he's the main dude in this whole country, this giant country. He's the one at the walk. He's the one killing Ray's dad. He's everywhere. And I don't know if that's true or not from the book. The Major kills his dad. I don't know. Somebody can fact check me on that. We'll talk mainly the ending with the book. But they get to the starting line. The major encourages them, but I could tell on the rewatch. One, Ray like hates the major from the beginning. Like he doesn't react at all to the major. So you can kind of tell that something's brewing there. Also, the major says to Stebbins, "Good luck, son," at the beginning. I didn't catch that. Or I briefly caught it, but I didn't think of anything about it.
Yeah.
But he literally says, "Good luck, son," at the beginning when he gives him the dog tag. So something that you might not catch right away. He does know that the major knows that that's his son. You think, or if that's just an Easter egg and he was
I
just
would
saying
think
that.
so. Or
Yeah.
if not, it's done as like a little because he has a bunch of kids apparently.
Yeah, he's a bunch of kids, so that he doesn't care about. But because he doesn't say that he only says it to him. So, but apparently, Stebbins says like my father doesn't know anything about me. So you're kind of questioning like, but he does. He knows who you are, but does he? I don't know. I think maybe they just wanted to have that cool little Easter egg in it. So during the first day, Ray gets to know the other walkers, and they form a close bond with Peter. A boy named Thomas Curley is the first to be killed, as he develops a Charlie horse. A Charlie horse is a slang term for a very painful involuntary cramp, most commonly occurring in the legs, usually in the calf muscle or foot.
Have you ever had a Charlie horse?
I don't think I have.
Oh, they're not fun. I normally get Charlie horses right when I wake up. If I get out of bed, I got out of bed one day and I could not work because of how bad it was. This never normally happens, but normally like I'll get it and I feel it and then like I lay and I shake and then like 2 minutes later it's done.
Oh no, that's not good. Because they can last from a few seconds to a couple of days,
Yeah.
it says on Wiki. Yeah, not good. So Curly got a Charlie horse, and he was the first one killed. First one killed brutally. And then that's when we got the title card too. Like they didn't show the title card until after the first kill, which was like 20 to 30 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, I was like fully ready to go with this whole movie, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot there was a title card.
Yeah, I forgot what this movie was called. Long Walk. There it is. So Gary is the bully guy. Gary is shunned by the group for provoking another walker named Rank into attacking him, resulting in Rank's execution. That was the guy who his face got destroyed on the pavement. So
yeah,
he died, and then everyone started hating Gary. That was another brutal kill there. As the walk progresses, Ray reveals why he signed up to Peter. He wants to wish for the gun and use it to kill the major as revenge for executing his father for political opposition. So this is a big point in the movie because you get the backstory. First off, his father is dumb. No offense. Like, you have a wife and you have a son. And yes, you were speaking about opposition to the regime. And then he gets arrested, as you would expect. You would think they'd kill him on sight. But no, we have a friendly Mark Hamill. We have a Mark Hamill that believes in second chances. And he gives him a complete second chance on the street. Like, just accept that you're with the government, speak nice about us. He gives the father a second chance. Just to at least live and be with his wife and son. And he says no in defiance. And then he dies in front of his wife and son. But it's like, why? I don't know. Like, why would you...
Here's the way I thought of it, okay? Theoretically, right? If you were that guy, the way I think of this government... if you think of this government, I think of it as Nazi Germany. Like, could you imagine that guy coming up to your door and be like, hey, do you like Hitler or no? Like, do you pledge your allegiance to the Nazi party?
Well, I feel like in the matter of life or death, I would try to just live longer. Even by like I'd lie in that instance. I would
lie. Yeah. But
Yeah,
then
I
like
would
what
lie.
does that lie entail? Like are they gonna make you do things or maybe
that is true. Like
you
maybe they
know
take him somewhere
yeah, they might take him
as
and make
punishment.
him and do something. And he just said, no, screw you guys, and he died.
Then again, that is an inference.
Yeah,
That is
it's
an
an inference. But that's the way I took it. Is it must be that
Okay,
bad that he
that's fair.
doesn't want to, you know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's potential.
Did you
And then they, or you say
I was
something.
going to say, did it talk about the hill scene or no in your wiki summary?
We'll mention the hill scene in a second. I don't think it does, but I will just say with this, because this happened after the hill scene. So Peter tries to talk Ray out of it, killing the Major, which is crucial for the ending that we don't like. Peter talks him out of it and says that you need to choose love. You need to choose to help your mom instead, because you're just going to get killed if you do this. So, but then he's like, what if I don't get killed? Because I'm going to be on such a high platform because I'm the winner. Like, they're not going to want to kill me just like that. But Peter convinced Ray to choose love instead. Don't choose vengeance. We'll remember that later because it goes again. The ending ruins that whole thing. So that was a nice moment between them. But yeah, that's the backstory for Ray not liking the Major. And earlier we did have the hill scene. So the first night, you wonder like how the night is going to go. Because like you can't take a nap break or anything. So they're going up a hill and it is pitch black.
Which they don't know they're going up a hill.
Yeah, they don't know right away. And Ray at this point already has 3 warnings. Like, I forget. One warning he dozed off and that woke him up. The second warning I forget, but the third warning he tripped. So he's like on do or die mode right now. And he's freaking out at Peter, like, screw you and all that. Like, you just want me to die. So he's losing it mentally. And then they start going up this hill, and people are dying left and right at this point. And Ray's got a gun up to his head as he's walking up this hill. And just when he's about to lose it, Peter grabs him and calms him down. Great scene. Great scene of tension, even though we know that Ray is going to live, ideally. That was a great scene. Any thoughts you had with the hill scene?
And that's how they. That was my other question. How are they going to kill off a lot of these people? And it's the hill scene.
Yeah, it was a massacre.
It was a massacre. And also, I think around this point too is the guy dies while pooping his brains out.
Yeah, one guy had diarrhea, I believe. It was bad, and he died that way. I don't think the wiki summary says every other like out of nowhere death. Like one guy tried running into a store and died because if you run off the pavement, you die instantly.
One guy got ran over by the tank.
The tank. Yeah, he tried walking up to the tank, and then he got trampled. One guy took off his clothes.
Ran naked.
And he ran almost naked and got shot when he ran off the pavement. Those were just deaths that I don't think are in the wiki summary.
One foamed out of his mouth.
Yeah, one guy was foaming. That was the second guy who died. That was brutal. Yeah, that one wasn't mentioned. So, okay, more walkers die over the next several days. Hank, aka the Karate Kid, becomes delirious and attempts to attack the soldiers, who shoot him down and let him slowly bleed to death as punishment. So, they didn't give Hank the headshot because he was walking, ran up to if you walk up to a guard, you get shot. Like they'll shoot you and you're essentially out. So they let him bleed out as punishment for opposition. So he didn't even get a final headshot. And that caused one of the musketeers to like almost get himself killed by walking back to him. So
yeah.
Hank dies there. The next morning, the boys learn that Hank was married. He looks really young for being married. And agreed that the winner should give some of the prize money to his widow.
Clementine.
Riddled with guilt. What was it?
Clementine.
Yes, Clementine.
So they say nice the Clementine song.
They do. Riddled with guilt over Rank's death back earlier, Gary, the bully, begs Ray to accept him into his group. Ray agrees, but Gary suffers a mental breakdown when he talked about like people breaking down after so long. and get delirious. He fatally stabs himself with a spoon and then gets shot. So he commits suicide as well. Eventually, only 5 people remain: Ray, Peter, Billy, Arthur, and Cully. Billy, who has fallen ill, that is, what's his full name?
General son.
Stebbins. I know him more as Stebbins, but we'll go by Billy from now on. So Billy has fallen ill, tries to persuade the others to not help each other anymore, so as not to prolong their suffering. So before that, the wiki doesn't even say anything. They go to Ray's town, and no one's in this town except Ray's mother. And you get a scene where Ray runs back to his mother, nearly dies by stepping off the pavement, and he's like, I'm sorry. And then Peter is able to save him. And then Ray's freaking out, and Peter calms him down by telling him his story about how his parents died. He was abused by his uncle, I believe it was. He got a scar on his face. I forget the exact detail by detail. Great scene by the 2 actors.
Yeah.
These 2 actors are fantastic. That was a great scene between the 2 of them. There were many great scenes between the 2 of them. That was like a standout if you want to look at like one scene. That scene in particular, like after they see the mom and they're talking, Peter's talking about his backstory. Great scene. Absolutely great. Sad that the wiki summary doesn't speak much about it, but that was a great scene. So as we keep going, oh, there it is. While walking through the town, Ray spots his mother watching, is almost executed trying to get to her until Peter pulls him away. Collie, one of the 5 people left, manages to steal a guard's rifle, shoots the man, and then kills himself with it after the others wound him. So this guy was sick and tired of it. He hates the government and all that. And he takes a rifle, kills one of the soldiers. Instead of shooting the other soldier with the big mounted gun, he just like stands there and then gets shot. He had a chance to kill the one soldier, but he would have been dead anyway. I guess in the book, there was a point where one guy tried starting a rebellion, but because no one else joined him, he died. So I guess maybe that was like the similarity there, because they weren't going to help each other. So I guess that's some similarity from the book. Arthur, who was one of the 4 musketeers, develops internal hemorrhaging, internal bleeding. That's a better way to put it.
Yep.
And decides to stop walking, and Peter and Ray allow him to stop walking. They accept that he is dead, and they allow him to stop walking. They don't help him. Billy Stebbins, his sickness worsens. We're at the final 3, and they're walking over a bridge, and Ray is like, screw you, Major. And Major's like, that's the spirit, kiddo. Or something like that. That was a funny scene.
Yeah, you go. I remember I was staring up at this, and then all I hear is Mark Hamill's voice, and I'm like, oh, Brian.
Is that the point when you cried when Arthur died? The musketeer?
I wasn't really crying, but I was tearing up, yeah.
Okay. Because you mentioned in the non-spoiler, like he teared up at one point. So, was
Even
that the
ending?
moment? The ending? Okay. We're close to the ending. We're close. That's when we're going to really get to talk. As Billy Stebbins' sickness worsens and he realizes he no longer has a chance to win, he reveals to Ray and Peter why he chose to join the walk. And throughout the walk, he knows everything. And even on the rewatch, like, he knows everything about the walk. He's like explaining things. So, like, he knows everything. So he is one of the Major's many illegitimate sons. Legitimacy in traditional Western common law is the status of a child born to parents who are legally married to each other, and of a child conceived before the parents obtain a legal divorce. So take that as you will. Conversely, illegitimacy, also known as bastardly, has been the status of a child born outside of marriage, such as a child being known as a bastard, a love child, or a natural child, or illegitimate. So that's why he would say, I'm a bastard son. So that's what it means. So there's a little history lesson. He wants to use his wish to force the Major to accept him. And the Major doesn't care. While this whole conversation is happening, he's just standing there looking at him like, what's up?
What
He's just watching. Yeah. He don't even care one bit. He then tells the pair it was an honor to walk with them before stopping and allowing himself to get killed, leaving Ray and Peter as the final two walkers. This movie could have been a 9 out of 10 if the movie just ended right here. But we got to get the ending. Got to get it. The pair arrives. I'll read the whole plot summary first and we'll discuss it. The pair arrives at another town where a crowd has gathered to see who wins. Peter intentionally sits down, which happened in the book, but Peter was third place in the book, only for Ray to pick him up and encourage him to keep going. He does so, failing to notice that Ray himself has now stopped walking. The Major executes Ray and congratulates Peter for winning. When asked to state his wish, Peter carries out Ray's plan that Peter said not to do. I'm adding that. By asking for a carbine assault rifle and killing the Major with it, then resumes walking down the road. End of story.
Now,
do you want me to read the ending of the book?
Yeah, why not?
Just to do compare and contrast. Why not? Let's go to the book plot summary. I'll just read it off, how that ends. So, going to the very end, there's 3 remaining walkers. Ray, Stebbins, and Peter. As Ray tells him a fairy tale, Peter falls asleep and walks towards the crowd. Ray breaks his promise and saves him. However, Peter chooses to sit down and die peacefully. A distraught Ray is beckoned by a dark figure further ahead and decides to give up because Stebbins cannot be beat. When he tries to tell Stebbins, Stebbins clutches at him in horror and falls over dead. So Stebbins was number 2 in the book. This leaves Ray the uncomprehending winner. He ignores the Major and keeps following the dark figure who he believes to be another walker, declaring that there's still so far to walk and hoping to catch up, even finds the strength to run. So that's the book version. So now let's talk about the ending. What did you think about it?
What were my 3 questions again? Do you remember?
You had 3.
How?
And they all dealt with the ending.
They did. I know one of them was, did Peter survive after shooting the Major? That's one of them. The other was, why would Peter shoot the Major when he had that whole spiel about not shooting it? And I forget what the other one was. But here's my thing, right? Why wouldn't Peter just walk off the road? And like Ray picked him up.
If he wanted to truly die.
Why just not walk off the road?
Well, if he walked off the road, he'd walk into a crowd of people.
That hasn't mattered the whole thing. Because people were.
Or you could walk up to a soldier and just like slap him.
Or like take their gun.
Yeah, do.
Yeah, but why sit down in the road?
I guess they were going with what happened in the book. Because I did say, like, Peter in the book sat down and then they killed him in the book.
Which I like Peter winning, because if Ray won, like, it's kind of obvious. You know, because he's the main character. Of course he's going to win. But Peter winning, who's still technically a main character, but not, like, it's a continue.
It's a cool diversion.
Yeah. But then, like, does Ray survive? Does Peter survive at the end? He just shot the general. He just shot the Major.
Yeah, because they don't... I think you can infer what maybe happened, or, like, interpret it yourself. Like, it's very open-ended. Like, maybe it was what Ray said earlier. Like, there's no way they'll kill him because he just won, like, a very popular contest. So it could be that. Like, you don't hear the crowd anymore. You don't hear anything. You don't see the soldiers, the other ones. So I think you can interpret it yourself. Maybe they shoot him. Because I saw one review, like, it goes for, like, the first time in a very dreamlike state at the end. Like, when he says, "This is for Ray," which was kind of cheesy. Like, when he says that, it kind of, like, changes everything.
Yeah.
Like, if the style kind of, like, changed in a way. And you couldn't hear anything else. So, I think you can interpret it. Like, maybe they shoot him. maybe he gets to walk free.
Personally, what do you think happened?
I think he shot him and he walked free.
I think they killed
I
him.
don't. I mean, it's a stupid. It sucks that that's what we're interpreting because getting to that point of him even shooting the major is just dumb.
Yeah, and before we get to that real quick, I feel like what would have been better is I told Son John if they walk down the street and they turn right, and then you hear like 5 seconds later you hear gunshots, and then you could even have Mark Hamill's voice say, "Congrats, son, you won."
But you don't know who won.
But you don't know who won. And then, I mean, yeah, it doesn't answer the question because I feel like Peter fully convinced Ray not to kill the major.
Yeah, you'd think. I think he kills the major.
If
like
Ray
that.
survives.
No.
I'm saying in like that thing, like if they turn right and someone dies, like I feel like they convinced. That I think Peter convinced him not to do it if he would have won.
I think if Ray won, he wouldn't have shot the major.
Exactly. So then you can leave it up to interpretation. But they wanted to kill the major.
My ending would have just been Ray winning. However you do it is however you do it. But I think it should have ended with Ray choosing love, like Peter told him, and to help his mom. Because also Ray had that necklace that Arthur gave him at Final Four. So that necklace is still on Ray's dead body at the end of this movie. So I just think... And also, like they mentioned, whoever wins should help out Karate Kid's Hank's wife, Clementine, as well. So I felt like the winner had a lot of obligations. So Peter shooting the major and potentially getting himself killed ruins all of that.
I'm sure also if Peter survives, he helped out Ray's mom.
You'd have to hope.
Yeah.
And that's why, if you want to justify the movie, the reason why Ray let himself die is because Peter always saw the light in things. Peter was always the bright one in a way. Like he would choose love when Ray wouldn't. But Peter just went back on all of that when he shot the major. Like, you just defy your own logic by doing that, I feel like. Because Peter convinced Ray not to do it. I don't know.
I like Peter's thing of having two winners with the long walk.
That was my whole thing with, like, just put a finish line so there could be more than one winner.
Yeah, shooting the major, like...
It just goes against everything.
It made sense. Like, it did, but it didn't make sense for Peter to do it.
Yeah. It was just such a weird ending, because, yeah, Peter was the one who vouched not to do it. Ray's death couldn't have broken that much. Like, Ray voluntarily died by the rules. So it's like, he chose it. It's not like, I could see maybe if Ray got screwed or something like that, like unjustly screwed, that made Peter, like, forget everything. But it's like Ray just chose to die. Because he thought Peter was, like, the brightest person. And then Peter's like, no, I'm like you, Ray, at your bad state. It just, like, it doesn't work. Like, the wiki summary says, Peter carries out Ray's plan. But that was his plan before Peter was like, choose love, not vengeance. Oh my god, it frustrates me. Oh my god. It was not a good ending.
Well, and the other thing too is, you think about it, Peter and Ray probably could have kept going for a bit.
They could have, easily.
They could have kept going.
Another. They would have made it to 400.
And then you're just delaying their deaths. But, like, could have been like, all right, bro, last one to, like, keep walking wins. Like, don't, like, intentionally sit down.
Yeah, just, like, walk until they could have just been, like, they could have stuck with the rule that was before, like, we can't help each other. Win. Like, that was the rule that they set earlier. And they really didn't stay true to it.
And they have to give the one Christian boy's necklace, which Ray ended up dying with, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, that necklace was still on his dead body at that point. So it's like, that is a good point. I think the movie should have ended, or the walk should have ended, by one of them falling over, like, and just dying. Like they should have went to the point where it's just like we go until one of us can't. We can't help each other. Like we'll just do this until one of us can't do it anymore. And then you get a winner. And then if it's Rey, then Rey wins and then he can choose love. If Peter wins, he can choose love. Instead, he chose vengeance. Is that what they're trying to tell? Like, vengeance always wins over love? Is that the moral of the story that we're telling? It's not a happy ending. No one was clapping when he shot the Major. Is that the story we're telling? Like, good men can break? Is that your moral lesson of the movie? Because it's not a very good one. If you want to have anything inspiring. Nothing was inspiring about that ending. It was like a very bleak and unsatisfying ending.
Also,
I don't know.
Rey walking that long without shoes on is kind of insane.
That was insane.
What's more insane is Peter didn't look bad at all throughout this entire movie.
There was like one night where he was like kind of struggling, like they were leaning on each other. But that was it. Peter was pretty strong in it all. So, yeah, Peter probably would have won. Anyway, like if they just like were every man for himself, like at the end, like 1v1, Peter probably would have won by the end of it. Which would have been even a better ending than Rey just saying like, I don't care about my mom anymore. Like I'll let her live alone. I'm just going to sit down and die. Like that would have been a better ending.
I think they did it because it was more unexpected. Peter.
I don't like the whole like you're a brighter person than I am, and then Peter just completely goes against it at the end.
Because as soon as like Peter got up, I was like, Rey's dying.
Yeah. But I like the shock. I like the attempt, but it failed. It's not a good ending. It goes against the movie that we were building up.
And the book.
And it's a hard ending to land. Let's say that. It's a very hard ending to land. But I just wish we got something
is why I think
that was satisfying.
Which is why I think it would have been better to left off who survived.
Possibly, yeah. Definitely.
Because I feel like you grow too emotional to these characters.
Yeah. Or maybe you can have two winners. First to the finish line. Simple enough. Well, but not happening. Yeah, we could rant about the ending forever. I feel like we really could. I think I got the gist of everything that I didn't like about the ending. It's still like 90%. If this movie was just 95% of it, it's a 9 out of 10. Easily. Like if it was the first 95%, great movie. Fantastic. It just, I haven't seen a movie this year fail so bad with its ending. I haven't seen a movie. Like, I'm going to look at my movies that I have, like, that just failed completely on the ending. 28 years later, possibly. I saw that a while ago. Minecraft movie didn't even have a bad ending. Like, where it just, like, fumbled the ending. Like, I'll even look at your list so we can compare. Like, at least Happy Gilmore 2 had a good ending, I would say. And I was low on that movie. Thunderbolts was good. Fantastic Four was good. Jurassic World Rebirth. Honestly, that movie had a more solid ending where I wasn't like, that was so... Actually, no. They took that dinosaur at the end of Jurassic World Rebirth away from its home and probably got it killed. So that also... But I think this ending was worse.
Well, they also had it too where what's-it-called? In Jurassic World Rebirth. What's his name survives?
Oh, Duncan.
Yeah, Duncan probably should have died.
Yeah, that was a dumb ending. But it's like, that movie was bad to begin with, and like it kind of just stayed on the level. This movie was like up and went down.
That and a crappy. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of How I Met Your Mother. You've never seen How I Met Your Mother, but basically in How I Met Your Mother is such a great show. You spend 9 seasons. Spoiler for How I Met Your Mother. Skip like... Hold on. Oh, okay. If John doesn't edit it, it's going to be 30 seconds for us. I'll talk in 30 seconds now. And How I Met Your Mother is the 9 seasons of them meeting the mother. You go through multiple relationships. And the first girl he ever dates in the show gets married to one of the other characters, but he still loves her. And then he actually finds his wife in season 9. Took 9 seasons to find this chick. He marries her, and then 30 seconds later, you find out she has cancer and she dies. And then he marries the girl at the beginning of the show. So we spent 9 seasons when he could have just married the first girl. And that's
crazy.
Wait, hold on. And that's 30 seconds. We're back. That's how I felt with this. Like, great show, horrible ending. Great movie.
Sounds like Game of Thrones, and I've never seen Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and everyone says with Game of Thrones had a horrible ending.
Yeah, it's like I saw like the IMDb ratings for like each season, and like the last season was like a huge drop off in ratings. So it's like it's tough. It's really tough. Like that's the thing. This is going to be a movie that unfortunately I think it'll be the title just doesn't fully cross the finish line.
I like that. You know, like the other thing, like what was wrong with the ending of Stephen King's book that they had to say, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Stephen King is known though for like having bad endings in his books. I remember in It Chapter 2 they made fun of that. But like with like bad endings.
Even this ending, like even the ending you read to me sounds better than what.
Like that's not a great ending, but at least it's like.
Or what you do is you have
stays consistent.
You have Ray win. He holds up the gun, and then you could even, and he doesn't shoot, or he could shoot by the side and be like, "A wise man once told me to like," and give a great quote Peter gave, because Peter gave a lot of great quotes in this movie. I think that's one thing we didn't really even talk about. The dialogue in this movie is amazing.
So good.
So good. Not even good. Great dialogue.
Fantastic.
But, yeah, fantastic.
9 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
But like have that and be like, count your days, General, or something like that. And then he can turn around and be like, no, I have a walk to finish, which sounds pretty cheesy. But like he just walks away and that's the end of the movie.
Yeah. He could have like held up the necklace that was around his neck still at this point. Like he could have just held it in his hand, and that's what he chose more than anything. And it wouldn't be like the greatest ending, but it would have worked.
It would have been better than what we got.
Yeah, he chose love. He listened to Peter, and is better. Like I'm looking at my criteria. There are some things in here that are like 10 out of 10 worthy, like characters. Engaging plot, no bore moments, perfect length. I rewatched it in the theater already. Like it has great, fantastic moments. The dialogue, fantastic. So it does suck that the ending was how it was. Any other final thoughts with this movie? So we went with good length with this.
We did a little longer than I thought. No, not really. Go see it.
All right. Go see it. If you haven't already, which is insane, you've probably seen it already at this point.
Honestly, if you made it to this point, you didn't see it, I don't blame you because it's a very emotional movie. It takes a toll on your body.
Yeah. Honestly, like I wouldn't want to see it after like knowing everything that happens. Kind of just like takes away from any surprise and emotion. So, yeah, if you're at this point, you haven't seen it yet, like what are you doing? I don't know. I question you. Not too much, but thank y'all for listening to this episode. Thank you very, very much. Peacemaker episode 5 comes out at the end of the week. We will review it at the end of the week, so check that out.
Oh, well, Gen V.
Gen V is starting up on Wednesday. There's 3 episodes to watch.
And this summer I Turn Pretty. Finale is this Wednesday. Twitter. Check the Twitter. I'll be tweeting. Check TikTok. And if the ending is that shocking, I guess we'll go with, or something, and I have a lot of complaints, there's going to be a podcast episode on it. But there will be a review for it no matter what on TikTok for sure. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I'm actually kind of scared with that ending, John, because
really
the book ends at the end, I believe. I haven't read the book, but I believe the book ends after the wedding gets called off.
Oh, no.
And then it's left up to their interpretation when they meet at the airport. But, like, we're way past that part. And, like, there's nothing that's based off the book anymore. So, like, now I'm kind of actually, like, what's going to happen?
Interesting.
Conrad starts going on the long walk.
And what day does this finale happen again?
Wednesday. This Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Tomorrow.
Check out our Wednesday reviews if you haven't already.
That
That
too.
happened a while ago.
That was a
Check
good
those
show.
out.
I don't even know what the next show
Yeah.
after Gen V and Peacemaker is.
That'll be something we discuss in about 4 weeks.
Probably.
We still got a lot of time. Yeah, Gen V weekly reviews will start. I don't know when our first batch will be since it's 3 episodes at once, but once it's weekly, it'd probably drop every Thursday or Friday.
I'm assuming, I think we've talked about it. We could probably get it done Saturday, recording, and drop it Sunday.
Something like that. That should work. Yeah,
We'll
there's
let
3
you know
episodes
later
we
in the
gotta
week.
watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Peacemaker will drop probably on Friday, to fit our schedules. So
Yeah.
Friday or Saturday. So yeah, check out Peacemaker. Check out Gen V. I think I want to see Himothy. And you don't, and I don't know how many people do, but I do. I'm interested. So I think if it's worth it, I'll do a solo review on that if I see it. So that will just drop whenever I see it and review it. So check that out, or follow the TikToks as well, where we do our instant reviews. Follow our TikTok, follow our Twitter/X, follow our Instagram, follow all of that. All that is in the link tree in the link in bio. Check out Inside the Dome for our weekly content for the NFL and college football. We got more of that to do this week as well. But other than that, thank you all for listening. Another movie review is in the books. Go see The Long Walk again if you haven't already and you're bored. So, with Carl and Jacob, I am John Dodera. Have a great day, everybody. Keep on walking. And thank you all for listening to The Final Verdict.